Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena, we are playing what I'm calling Discard Tribal. It's really a mono black mid-range deck, and it certainly could go hammer on the discard. For example, we're not running that many Davriels. It's just a little bit format slow, so I'm not playing too much of it. But we are still running 4 Burglar Rats and 4 Yark's Fenlurkers. Legion's End, when it hits the hand, feels godlike. And Rankle can hit the hand very hard as well. So we've got a lot of discard action still going on with the deck. Discard Tribal is a bit of a meme, and I'm not kidding. It's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek because people who make decks that are nothing but discard effects have hopefully learned. I get people ask me for this kind of deck all the time, and hopefully you will learn that making the opponent discard all their cards doesn't win the game. They still draw a card every turn that you can't interact with, and eventually one of them will be good and you lose. So yeah, just playing a deck of all discard cards is bad. Playing a deck with some powerful effects and some good discard synergies is great. So here, the Heraldic Banners actually play a big role. They make extra mana to pump things like Knight of the Edmund Legion and cast things like Cavalier of Night, and they make our rats not just little crappy 1/1s. Getting a few extra points of power onto these babies really kicks it into overdrive, and they makes them much stronger cards. Cavalier of Night is the hammer. This card is amazing. In creature matchups, and I can't stress that enough, in creature matchups, this card it just takes it home. If the opponent's playing green or Gruul or red, this hits the battlefield and everything changes. And I have a feeling you will see that in some of these games coming up, because it's been so obvious to everybody watching my streams and things of that nature. I have some fun ofs. Liliana's a fun of. I think that we should have a Dreadhorde General running this army. So she's in there because she's awesome. Cavalier of the Cauldron, of Eternity, is a legendary artifact. It costs 2 less for each creature in your graveyard, and whenever a creature you control dies, put it on the bottom of the library. So you don't want to play this until you have a graveyard full of creatures, and then when you do, you can pay 2 life to return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield at sorcery speed. So the idea is hopefully to draw this in the middle of a game or in a long drawn out game, drop the Cauldron and use it to get back Rankles to do terrible things, discard effects to knock the opponent's hand down some more, Knight of the Ebon Legion to pump mana into, and Cavalier of Night to just slaughter our opponent with. So anyway, the deck is probably at a severe disadvantage against Golos and Gates. We need a really good curve of disruption and Rankle to really get through them. So with a great draw we can win, but most of the time we won't. However, we are in the arena. The arena is always 70 to 80% in best of 1 creature aggressive strategies, and those are the decks we want to prey on with our rats and our knights and our cavaliers of night and our murderous riders. Yeah, we want to go after them. It's amazing what Heraldic Banner and some lifelink can do. In the land base, we have 4 castle locked lanes and 2 mobilized districts. So emptying our hand out comes pretty naturally, especially if we end up discarding to our own Rankle. And yeah, we have a lot of cheap stuff that just hits the battlefield and we're done with it. But that's why we have the castles and the mobilized districts, to use our mana even after our hand is emptied. And it makes a big difference in the deck in gassing it up. I think I've talked enough. So let's dive right in and let the nonsense begin. Our hand has Legion's End, an Order of Midnight that's slow, and a Cavalier of Night. It's kind of a junky hand, to be honest, and it doesn't have any discard effects. The Legion's End could be very good or bad. The Order of Midnight could be very good or bad. It all depends on what the next few draws are. What we have is definitely a Cavalier of Night. It's possible I'm supposed to mulligan this hand. But Cavalier of Night is the great equalizer against any deck that is aggressive, and having enough land to almost play it makes me optimistic. If this were any other card, I'd have a hard time keeping. Drawing 2 of them is not exciting since we can't play them, and a Hunted Witness is getting busy. I'm going to hope that the opponent casts 2 of something here, but it says here When this and at least 2 other creatures attack, create a 1/1. So I gotta get rid of this. Castle Lock Lane. Legion's End. Slow down a second here, buddy. We don't want that thing cranking out tokens. And we see a Charmed Stray and 2 Glass Caskets. So we're dealing with a very aggressive white deck. And we have a creature in our hand that can't block. We need to draw a better creature. And we need to live long enough for the Cavaliers to take over the game. The Glass Caskets can't hit them, though. That's the good news. And all we've drawn are land. Okay, I said it depends what the next few cards are. We drew a second Cavalier that's going to take forever to cast, and 2 land. That is not good. So I'm playing out the Order of the Midnight. I want the opponent to casket it. Wow, they drew Gideon. They just ripped Gideon. I guess I lose. I guess I'm going to die. This draw is huge. All right, it's playable. It's a playable Magic card that gets Glass Casketed into Oblivion. That's not good. But at least we get to start tagging Gideon. But yeah, those Glass Caskets, that's ouchy. That is not good. Away goes our Knight of the Ebon Legion. In comes 8 damage. And then it's all up to the Cavalier of Night to stabilize. Another Marshal. Fortunately, we'll be able to kill that. Fortunately, the Cavalier of Knights can start to kill things. The opponent gives lifelink to the Venerable Knight. I go down to 4. Alright. That's a good draw. To pose, we tag Gideon. We play the Cavalier of Night. We sacrifice our Order of the Midnight to destroy another creature. And we'll take the Huzzah Marshal off the battlefield since it can create multiple bodies. And we're at an effective 8. If we get to block with our Cavalier, we are at 8. So how? The opponent's attacks just got a lot tougher. Not only that, they probably want to defend their Gideon from getting attacked by the Cavalier of Night as well. The opponent seems a little lost on what to do now. It's amazing how a Cavalier of Night stabilizes the battlefield. On stream the other day, people just kept on mentioning what an overperformer it is, and I think people forget about how strong this card is in creature matchups. If only creature matchups were the meta. Oh wait, in Best of 1 Arena, they are. Yep, timeout to 0. Here is a Hunted Witness. What does the opponent do? They don't even have good attacks. They do have good blocks. One of the problems I'm going to have is that if I attack with my Cavalier Knight, the opponent just chumps with a Hunted Witness. Okay. What are you? Indestructible? Are you swinging? They seem really torn on whether or not to attack, but here it comes. They do net them damage. I could block here to prevent as much damage as possible, but I don't gain life. I would actually die. If I block Gideon here, the damage that's dealt to it is prevented. Therefore, I would die. That would be 4 with no life. So I have to block something else. This is indestructible. So it doesn't make sense to block this. So we can block the Stray, take 7, and go to 1. And we, yeah, still alive. -3. Oh, just kidding. 1. Legion's End can get rid of the Hunted Witness. That was an amazing rip. And then we can kill the Gideon. Oh my gosh. What a rip. Schmork. Up to 5. We have this ability to activate this castle, but it would cost us, after we draw, 3 life. Sounds like a bad idea. But here comes the opponent. Getting in there. And my turn. A banner. It's a good way to gain more life, but I don't think it's the play right here. So I could attack and gain life with the Cav and go up to 7 and then play Liliana and make a zombie. The opponent can Glass Casket the zombie and attack the Liliana, which puts off the ultimate. So with the opponent being at 27, and with me having a backup Cavalier of Night, I'm just going to plus make a zombie and not attack. I think we'll be safe, at least for a turn here, so that the casket can't let the Knight poke the Liliana, or poke my face. That would be the other thing. We'd just be dead to a removal spell. The opponent draws Giant Killer to kill the Cav. We get back an Order of the Midnight, and we draw a card. So that helps. But Giant Killer is a tapper. Still, Liliana's about to take over the game, it looks like. And yeah, the opponent doesn't even want none. They don't want to see the rat, take their card, and then follow up with Eben and Banner to pump everything. Oh my gosh, we got there. Yeah, it's a nice little curve of toys. Not particularly powerful, not particularly weak. And here comes the Knight of the Ebon Legion. To start the party, Mono Red Funky Mountain. Shock the Knight, of course. Let's start the 2-for-1 train with Burglar Rat. Discard a card. Against red, the black deck does pretty well, which is one of the reasons I love it. Cavalier of Night, of course, is a boss, but so are all the 2-for-1s. A Burglar Rat that exchanges with one of their 1 toughness creatures is a 2-for-1, because they have to discard a card as well. And those things just pile up, and the red deck turns out they haven't done very much, and your life total is still reasonably high, and then you smash them. And they discard a shock? That's great. That is great. Okay. Red-green. I'll take that damage. We're actually, despite making the opponent discard, still lower on cards than our opponent. We can get back a Knight of the Ebon Legion and play it out. I don't have anything just to brick wall the Robber of the Rich just yet. I could make the opponent discard again, then the Robber of the Rich might actually do something. I'm probably better off saying go and seeing if there's something worth casting Murderous Rider on, depending what the opponent plays. If they play a Gruul Spellbreaker, that's really awkward because I end up using the Rider on the Robber, but I guess we do what we gotta do. It's 4 cards to 4 cards. I can let the opponent attack. They don't get the trigger. And I can let the damage happen in case they have something better that they're planning to play that I would rather use my Murderous Rider on. They have to know that's coming. Instead, it's a Bonecrusher Giant on the Burglar Rat. Okay. Not a big deal. I feel pretty priced in at this point to using the Rider. Otherwise, we're just falling behind on board and not doing much. So we'll do that. Let's get out the Mobilized District so it doesn't have Summoning Sickness next turn if a curious order of events would make us want to attack with it. We can play this rat, hit your hand. Another forest. Okay, let's alter our fate, get back a Knight of the Ebon Legion, as it can be pretty strong against these decks, and we might run out of things to do with our mana in the near future. Bonecrusher arrives. Another land. So this turn we're probably casting Order of the Midnight and the Murderous Rider and holding back the Knight of the Ebon Legion to come down when we can hold up plenty of mana easily. Another play would be attack with Mobilized District, but that would be all we do for our turn, so I don't love it. But yep, here's a Murderous Rider. Here's an Order of the Midnight to start attacking in the air. And Murderous Rider and Burglar Rat can combine on the Bonecrusher Giant, unless the opponent wants to waste a spell on them. And if they use a spell on them, my Knight of the Ebon Legion looks a lot better. Okay, there's a spell. To the bottom. Don't think I really want to chump away my rat, but I might need to here. Cards in the graveyard can be helpful a little bit. Yeah, I think gaining 4 life from the rat is as good as it will probably get, and there's a nice draw. Hello. Did I say this card is an absolute lock on these battlefields? Did I mention that? Alright. That was a reason to keep the rat around, but because now we're sacrificing our Order of the Ebon Legion, but whatever. We can also put this out, but it could die. A shock or another Bonecrusher Giant could kill it. When we have this much mana, I think that that's a waste. So I'm going to hold it back. I know that a dead Cavalier Knight could recover it, but the opponent could just sequence in such a way that they could kill the Cav first. And are we going empty-handed? A grazer? That's not very aggressive now, is it? Murderous Rider. My god. If the opponent double blocks us, they will have regrets. Let's send it in. And here comes the double block. And here comes a swift end. And we'll target the Spellbreaker, because if we target the Bone Crusher Giant, we take more damage. It deals 2 damage whenever a spell targets it. Keep that in mind. Now I'll play out the other half of the Rider. I'm still going to hold back the Knight till I can just leave my mana up freely. Make it really hard to kill if the opponent draws a shock or something. And that's game. Well, this opener is close. If we draw land, it's good because the banner produces mana, and we should be able to hold the opponent off even if we miss a land drop for a turn or two. Unless they play something massive, like a questing beast. Like a really fast questing beast. If a Nullhide Ferox enters the battlefield off of a rat, that would be sad. The arch nemesis of discard tribal. The Nullhide Ferox. But maybe we'll see Rankle for the first time. In this video, at least. This card is amazing. It's awesome with rats. It's awesome with making the opponent discard. It's the real discard tribal lord. Our opponent opens on a Tranquil Cove. I would like to think they're doing some cute blue-white shenanigans. In reality, they are probably Golos. And against Golos, you need a nice curve of discard effects to slow down their action. And well, we could do it. We need a land off the top. This hand isn't great for it, but it could do it. They're responding with Once Upon a Time because they want the max information before choosing what to discard. And yeah, that seems very much like Golos. And the Guild Gate pretty much gives it away. So, ban Golos, absolute boogeyman of the format. And they discard the gate. And now they have Growth Spiral. You can just tell, like, I've seen it all before. I'll go ahead and play an Order of the Midnight. Just have a 2/2 flyer and try to pressure them, but missing this land drop might be lethal on its own. If we could have had Rankle next turn, it's possible. We're gonna keep trying, but I don't like our chances in the slightest. Deck's so strong. It's just so strong. Alright, we're getting the turn 3 rope. Not sure what they could think that hard about, but they are doing it. Alright, here we go. Still mana screwed over here. Maybe if I put 29 lands in my deck. And in my honest opinion, what Golos did was break the land formula. I can run a reasonable number of lands here, like 24. No problem. And some games, I'm just going to lose like this. Golos decks run 28, 29, and 30 lands. And they never lose to drawing too many because of Field of the Dead. All those lands become 2/2s after the 7th one. So, in a way, they can't get mana screwed. They can't. But even my mono-black single-color deck can get absolutely hosed by its own mana base. Here's Circuitous Route. 2 lands. If the opponent had another land, they should have played it first so they get 2 zombies. Instead, they're playing it last so they get 1 zombie. That's a mistake. That is a mistake. So this turn I don't have too much I can do, so I'm going to throw away one of my rats and get it back with Order of the Midnight so I have a discard effect. The opponent will know I have it, but maybe it will do something in the future. If the opponent makes a mistake, for example, and leaves this Fae of Wishes in a place where I can hit the card that they tutor for, that could be nice. There's a Golos. Here's the Golos. Now the opponent can use the Golos to get a million things, and I don't want to play with them anymore. Too depressing to have 2 lands versus 8. It's just the way I feel. I think you guys understand. I mean, if we draw lands, it's good. I just lost 2 games in a row when I'm keeping a 2-land hand and never drawing a 3rd land. So if I'm gun shy, I think you don't blame me, but I'm supposed to keep hands like this. Drawing lands is part of the game, and it should be able to happen. Our opponent is mulliganing like crazy. I think I've seen at least 2. All right. Here we go. Hey! What the hell are you? The 3rd land? What nonsense is this? All right. 4th land? Do I play a 2-mana 2/2? Yeah. Just have something on the battlefield. The opponent will probably ignore it, but then when we draw Cavalier of Night or when we play Rankle, sacrificing this can help us get more effect. So yeah, we run out our 2/2. If the opponent kills it, that's great. Like, that's great. Spitter spitting. And no other creatures here. So this is going to be a Murderous Rider, and I'll play it on the Scorched Spitter here. If the opponent plays nothing else. If they had played a Torbran, you know, that would have been nice. All right, they're going with Tybalt. And that does stop life gain, which is frustrating, but Rankle can kill Tybalt, so I'm not as scared. Let's just go with a Swift End on the Spitter, so that's off the board. All right, guys. Rank them up. Tybalt down. Life gain is back, and they paid 3 mana for a Devil, so that feels fine to me. Wow, they mulliganed down to 5, and now they're up to 5 land. Their draw has been ugly. I know the feeling, dude. I've had some of those lately. I know the feeling. So rather than Rankle, which would only hit for 3 and probably not do much else here, let's get a Murderous Rider and a Knight of the Ebon Legion on the board, and have a board presence against this Devil. Our opponent pulls Mask of Immolation, which gives them an elemental. They can sack this to deal a damage to any target. I will block with the Murderous Rider. I'd be perfectly happy if the opponent wants to kill the Murderous Rider because I gain 2 life, and they give up all of their board. Looks like they're choosing the Knight of the Ebon Legion. That's fine too. Cavalier of Night can bring it back. Murderous Rider can gain a bunch of life. This sets me up for what I really want, which is Cavalier of Night next turn. They rarely can beat that. Plus, the pumps give us more life. It's amazing what a few extra little pumps can do with your lifelink creatures. Davriel. Oh, Dav. Here is my Cavalier of Night. No need to sacrifice anything. Just a 5/5 lifelink, just 8 lifelink is probably going to tilt the opponent into oblivion. They play a Chandra Spitfire. And they throw a mask on it. Okay. That means they can block and sacrifice this, and then I don't gain life if that's really what they want to do. But let's just send it to a Swift End. Spitfire spits some fire, but we don't pay 2 life, so actually they should have let that resolve so that it was 2 damage instead of 1. And I'll play this rat. I don't think the discard is ever going to matter, but having a body on the field might. Behold the golden eggs. It's so bright. I can't take it. Can't take it. Electro Dominance for 4. Sad ending. Sure, let's visit the Mastery Tree. Ding, ding, ding. Drop a load on them. Now we have a Realm Cloak Giant. And we got a booster pack. I bet it has gems. What do you guys think? Yep, gems. So I have all the rares. I'm missing a lot of mythics, to be honest. But that's the way the sets go. These 2 land hands are killing me. If we draw land, we can win. If we don't draw land, we can lose. And I'm really starting to wish this Cauldron Eternity was just a land, because I've drawn it more times than I've drawn a third land. But let's go. Let's go. This is the big money game. If we win this, we got 4 wins. We got our money back, even though we've had some pretty bad luck. All right. Yes. Yes. Let's go. Ben Lurkin. What you doing? Get out. Also, I'll tell you, some of you want to see the complete event, and I'm definitely not gonna play the game where I just drew 2 lands and then died. The second one, I'll show the first one, because I think I talked about Golos a bit, but not the second one, because honestly, I'm just too mad. I don't want you guys to have to watch content where I get mad. I know exactly what happens when I get salty on this channel. People don't like that. There's a very negative reaction. So some of you completists will want every game. I'm not sharing games where I get frustrated because I draw 2 lands for over 8 turns and lose. The salt is too much, and I know from experience what happens in the comments of those videos and what happens to the views on the channel. It's no good. So you don't get those. Don't think it's because I hate you. It's not because I hate you. So this is interesting. See the opponent with their open mana? They probably have something like a Swift End, something that would kill Rankle, a murder, right? So there's a few ways to play this. We could Legion's End and get a look at our opponent's hand, take out this Witness. Then we could attack with the Fenlurker, and the opponent might use a removal spell on the Fenlurker, which would be nice. And then we'd have a backup Rankle and Davriel for the future. We could play Davriel, the opponent would probably kill it, and these 2 creatures would continue to stare at each other. If the opponent had another cheap creature, they probably would have played it here. I think I've talked myself into the Legion's End line. And what do we see? Despark, Seraph, Liliana. Okay, this is going to be a mess. That Seraph is going to be painful. I don't know what I'm going to do about that card. I can Cavalier of Night it, but does that really accomplish much? The opponent has a Despark for the Rankle. So we've really got to think this one through. We know about the Despark. We know about the Liliana. Our Rankle is likely to get Desparked before it gets to do anything unless I attack with it this turn. The opponent will probably trade it for the Seraph, make some 1/1s. Then we have a Cavalier of Night, which would get Desparked. That is probably worse. So I think the right play here is the Cavalier of Night, sacrifice the Fenlurker. The opponent Desparks the Cavalier of Night, but they are left with 2/1. Once they attack me with the 1/1s, then I can attack the opponent with the Rankle, and at least get a trigger, and try to make it awkward for this Liliana. Okay, let's go. If the opponent really next levels us, they don't attack with the 1/1s. Let's see what happens. But this is going to be a really hard game if we don't draw Murderous Riders. The opponent is a proper powerhouse mid-range deck, and we don't run into many of those in Best of 1 these days. Oh, that's a creature they can easily sacrifice to Rankle. But yeah, we're hitting them up discard style. Davriel can come down, but then the opponent will attack it. They discard 1 card or the other. Rankle can do the same thing. I think I just discard Davriel, but there's a chance Davriel could next turn turn around and hit the Liliana, depending what the opponent draws. They've shown they have some tap lands in their deck. If I'm discarding, I'm probably discarding the Cauldron, but man, I don't have enough creatures in my graveyard to make Cauldron any good. The paying a life to draw a card seems nice unless the opponent resolves their Liliana, then it's terrible. So yeah, we're just doing discard and hoping that the opponent can't resolve Liliana next turn, and that Davriel gets to knock it out of the hand. If we can get this into a slugfest where we both have no resources, our castles can take over. It's a Kaya's Wrath. Whatever your card is, I would love for you to play it. Davriel is thirsty for Lily. Interesting. Well, I'm guessing the opponent will block with a 1/1, which is the same as if this blocked a 1/1 attacking me. So let's go. So, do we play the big old Cavalier of Night and destroy nothing? Or do we try to... We gotta get that Liliana out of there. If we play this and the opponent attacks it, they don't have a blocker for the Rankle, which can make the opponent discard the Liliana if they don't hit the untapped land this turn. All right.
Dealing with you, let's tidy up in there.
So, I bet it's not the Liliana that you discard. I bet it's not. Ugin. Holy cow.
What a whiner.
No untapped land, no untapped land. Yes! Yes! So, if the opponent will probably hold this back to block Rankle, so they can't kill Davriel, which means Davriel knocks out Liliana. Opponent's thinking about it. But, I mean, if you have to take 4 from the Rankle, and you have to discard the Lily, and there's other effects that the Rankle could have, that's a big problem. But the opponent chooses to kill Davriel. Look at that. Master of Pranks. All right. Well, I don't really want to discard this. What I want to do is sacrifice this Rankle to this Cavalier of Night to destroy the Sir Conrad, because this can be a pain. But we want to make the opponent we need to discard a card. We absolutely need to. So I guess that's not a great option. This is a really funky spot. What if I discard the Cavalier of Night and make... Nah, sacrificing a creature is terrible here. Yeah, I guess I'm discarding my other Rankle. I could also draw with the castle and try to draw something weaker, but that hurts our life total too much. Let's discard a card. Then I think we can draw a card. It would be really nice to draw something cheap to go with this Cavalier of Night. Plus the opponent's pretty low on life. Liliana down. This Rankle dealt me a damage because of Sire Conrad, the jerk. And, well, we can get back a Fen Lurker and play an Order of the Midnight. That's pretty fresh. And then we'd have something to sacrifice to the Cavalier next turn. I think I like it. So, Alter Fate. Plus we have our opponent in trouble. Let's keep him in trouble. Fen Lurker. Exile a card. It's a swamp. Ugh, the basic land they so desperately needed. We've been very lucky this game. And there's Order of the Midnight. And it is threatening a lethal attack through the air with Rankle and Order, because of the Rankle trigger that makes the opponent draw a card and lose a life. So, yeah, we could just have lethal here. The opponent is going to try milling. They hit in both. Okay. They're doing it again. They hit both. What? What? I mean, I still don't think they can kill me, but it's scary. Down to 11. If I take this damage, I go down to 5. Okay, because there's 2 other ways that things do the graveyard stuff, and that's when the Cavalier of Night comes down. Because what I'm going to do is sacrifice the Fen Lurker, kill the token. A few more triggers. These get in there. And then we use the ability of lose a life and draw a card to finish the game. Whew. Whew. It's amazing how much the known information of the Liliana Dreadhorde General in that game affected the game. We played a Legion's End really early, so we knew that was the last card in our opponent's hand. And I probably would have played that game completely differently if I didn't know they were sitting on Liliana Dreadhorde General. But it worked out. We played to our outs, which was the opponent missing the land drop to cast it, and we eventually got it discarded. Yeah, discard, discard, discard. And the one cauldron. You are trolling me so hard. I know I should probably just cut this from the deck, but I really like never had a problem with having it in my opening hand over and over and over again until today. It's like a punishment for doing cool things. It's what it feels like. I'm over it. Stop punishing me for being awesome. Let's Fenlurk. Let's hit that hand. Let's try to limit those resources. Ooh, tough decision. Bay of Wishes. Excellent. Okay. You can do it that way, I suppose, if you must. Gateway Plaza makes mana of any color. Looks like we're up against good old gates. Let's show them more lurking Fen stuff. Just creepy Fens lurking around, messing with your hand, saying get rid of your cool spells so we can just suck your souls over here. Another Is It Guildgate, or a Is It Guildgate. And smash. Let's hope the opponent kills one of these soon, so I can get it back into it again. A Davriel would be sweet. Like, that's what I really want here. Opponent's sitting on their pretty growth spiral. Let's go ahead and pump one. Get some damage in. No growth spiral. Okay. And there's the ram. That's why we held the rider, so that we could kill this ram when it showed up. Another district, sure. Swift end, please. I could play this as a flyer. I just think that that gets wrecked by Gates Ablaze pretty hard. And I really do want the Altar Fate and to get another card out of them. Grinding with the Gates deck is hard, but I don't think it's undoable. And I think the opponent eventually has to make a move like you just saw with the Clarion. So we get to play this. Name it black. Altar Fate. Get a Fenlurker. Play a Fenlurker. Hit another card. And the Fenlurker becomes a bigger threat because we have more mana available. And the banner. So this is our third card exiled. Gates Ablaze. So I guess they got some sweepers. Maybe they have a Hydroid Crassus. That card. So frustrating. You can make them discard all they want, but when they have the big effect at the end of the rainbow, it's just sad. However, that's one way to do it. So do we give up the Fenlurker? What if I attacked? You think my opponent would block? I think they might be too big of a coward too. I think it's like 2 free damage. And if they do block, I can still play Order of the Midnight and sacrifice that to the Cavalier. 2 free damage, let's go. They don't want to. They really don't want to. They love their Golos. This is just a bluff, but This is just a bluff. But it might be okay. Oh, they call. No, they don't. Oh, their heart is skipping a beat right now. Yeah, that's right. Love it. Because I'd much rather put this Fenlurker into the graveyard where I can get it back in the future than put this Order of Midnight there, which can be a great flying attacker. But our opponent exiled a Gates Ablaze, and that, to me, says they have another Wrath. The good news about that is if they kill this Cavalier of Night, Fenlurker takes their last card. And here comes Fae of Wishes. Fae of Wishes is going to get a card. Let's see what it is. You may choose a non-creature card you own from outside of the game, reveal it, and put it into your hand. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? What solves your problem? Clock is ticking, friends. Plain wide celebration. Go ham. All right, I need a way to knock that card out of the opponent's hand, like stat. They play a Fae of Wishes. We draw a Murderous Rider. I need this to die. Does this say target creature? It does. But there are 2 cards in the opponent's hand. I guess there's no way I can stop the celebration. But if it gets back a bunch of permanents, that's not a big deal. And it is their whole turn. Like, if they return a bunch of stuff to their hand, but I'm clocking them for it, who cares? All right. They must have another Wrath in hand, right? Feels like that's a must. And I kind of want some of these in the graveyard anyway, so that the Cauldron can do its thing. And we cut our opponent's life total way down. I know that this can gain a lot of life back, but if it's doing that, it's not gaining value. I don't know about getting Plain Wide Celebration there. So much mana at this point in the game. And what are you going to do? Go back to 20? In 2 attacks, I can wipe that out. I can even hit with Mobilized District next turn and cut more than half that life in half. And then you still have to deal with the board. They're doing it. And they go to 16 and make a single 2/2 creature. I'm pretty amazed. We've got a lot of mana. We can just dump out the Cauldron. I think it's better to slow roll it because I want these creatures in the graveyard when I do it. So, we could pump out a District and a Murderous Rider. Let's get him. Murderous Rider actually doesn't go to the graveyard when it dies, so playing out a second Murderous Rider when I think my opponent's going to wipe the board is a bad idea. Instead, let's draw a card. Actually, we can wait to do that. We don't have to do it now. This has Vigilance. We already played our land for the turn. Yeah, let's wait to do it. So you see, Plain Wide Celebration was kind of a draw one. It fogged for a turn, and the opponent got an extra draw off the top of their library, which I don't think is worth searching up with a Fae of Wishes. Here's a Deafening Clarion. Okay. Rider to the bottom. Does the opponent have the answer to the Cav, though? Do they have another effect? Guild Summit. Sure. And they left up a gate so they can draw a card, but they're tapped out. They just die to the District. This game's over. And Davriel. Why not? Got him. Wow. Just wow. I can't believe they discarded that Gates Ablaze earlier without kind of a backup. Wow. Two Legion's End, 2 banners. This hand is funky. If Legion's End is bad in this matchup, we do nothing. If it's good in the matchup, we're in great shape, but we don't put pressure. If it's a Golos deck, it's a big fail. I'm going to keep it. The arena is generally aggressive. Between 70 and 80% creature aggro decks. So I'm going to try it, but we could definitely get burned. And a 3rd banner off the top. What the hell? We've drawn 3 times as many, like, infinite more banners than creatures. All right, come on, show us a critter. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and Legion's End it to see what's coming, so our next Legion's End can try to hit something in duplicate. Oh, we hit an Impassioned Orator from the hand as well. Dawn of Hope, Plains, Pridemate, D-Spark. It's a life gain deck. It's a life gain deck. Supposedly, I'm getting matched against people with similar records to me. So that's kind of crazy. We've got another life gain deck here at 5 and... Is this 5 or 6 and 2? I think it's 5 and 2. Let's get a banner down. Let's hold this. We know we're going to hit this. We want to give our opponent a moment to draw another Pridemate, because we want to hit all of the Pridemates. Say they have the 4-mana Ajani Planeswalker that minuses to make a Pridemate. We would want to wait until they made both their Pridemates. All right. Bloodthirsty Aerialist will need an answer. There's a Fen Lurker. That is rock solid here. Like I said, we're gonna keep holding on. Like Avril Lavigne would. Keep holding on. If you don't know that song, it's at the end of, what was it? Oh god, it was at the end of a movie. And it's like a fantasy movie too, but the name is escaping me. Somebody mention it in comments. Keep holding on. Avril Lavigne. Song will change your life. No joke. Maybe a little joke. Maybe this much a joke. Okay, this is going to be annoying because it can make a 1/1 to block the Fen Lurker and grow the Aerialist, and I'm not sure what we'll do about that. I really don't know what the plan is here for that. Last card, you better play it. Second Dawn. Alright, well, I wasn't going to get rid of the Dawn anytime soon anyway. Now I'm locked in. Get out of here. Go away. But yeah, starting next turn, we are in trouble. Those Dawn of Hope tokens are a pain. At least we can pump the Fen Lurker and get some big hits in. Who would have ever thought you'd see these 4/1 rats? And with all this mana, the castle can start drawing cards. We'll draw 2 cards a turn, but the opponent has some value of their own in Dawn of Hope. I'm really curious to see what happens. They're going to make a token now. I like saving it for a surprise. I like being a surprising person. Let's draw a card, see what we get. Drawing cards is like a box of chocolates. You never know quite what you're gonna get. And we'll send... Do we want to tax? So the opponent can't really block this, or if they do, they take a bunch of damage. At the same time, if they attack with their token, I want to be able to pump my Fen Lurker to make their token die. And then they draw 2 cards anyway. I guess that's fine. Yeah, let's attack. Let's be aggressive. It's only 1 life. If it were like 3 life, it would be a problem. So now I can't block this when it attacks, but if the opponent uses the Dawn to draw some cards and get 1 counter on their Aerialist, I think I can handle this. Alright. Pump it. Hit for 5. Also, enough with the land. All the 2 land hands that didn't work out for a long time here. I need some spells for a change. That's a problem. That's a big problem. Now our opponent finds double Healer's Hawk in their last 2 cards. We'll need answers. This Aerialist has to go. I can deal with everything else. If they're paying 2 mana to draw an extra card because I'm getting hit by Healer's Hawk, whatever. But this needs to die. There's nothing in the graveyard. Son of a... What is going on? Alright, well, here's the district. Here come the rats. Opponent will probably want to block at least the burglar rat. And then we can get it back and make the opponent discard a card. Oh, okay. This does grow the Aerialist, of course. It's a problem. Let's pump you. Rat down. Rat down. Trigger, 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 trigger. It's a 5/6. We need a Cavalier of Night with a badness. But let's alter our fate. Get the burglars. Slam the burglar. Discard a card. Another Aerialist, good. And play you, but you can't block. So, yeah. Potentially lethal, though, if we draw a removal spell for the 1/1. And the opponent doesn't hold up mana. It's a very scary board, and they're going to go with a Vampire of the Dire Moon. Alright, no blocks. If they draw the card here, they're at 15, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 2 pumps is 14, 15. Do I hit a removal? No, I don't. This thing is lethal. At this point, we just have to draw and hope to get there. I can't believe I might lose this game. I thought I was in the driver's seat 100%. So here's the thing. If I activate the castle after playing the rat, I won't have the mana to use a Cavalier of Night. Right? Right. So I need to draw first, even though it's an extra damage. Crap! No! Ugh! I swung for the fences, and now I have failed. All right. Bluff strong like we have a blocker or something, right? Bluff strong. They won't attack. They won't do it. Oh, man. Wrong top deck. I did think about that too, that going down to 2 would mean I couldn't play Swift Rider, but I thought the absolute best draw I could get to get me back in the game was Cavalier of Night, and that drawing Murderous Rider wouldn't necessarily win the game. Like, see, this could attack for lethal next turn anyway. Wait. No, I still can't block. I can gain 2 life. No, I gain 5. I gain 5. Like this? I gain 5. What are they doing? We're still in this. We gotta draw a way to. We gotta kill one of these. We have to. Our opponent's at frickin' 17. Can I threaten lethal? No. I still gotta kill one of these. Come on, Cavalier of Night. Where are you at, yo? And I can't activate the castle or I die. Legion's End. No! Wrong removal. Oh. Why? Well, we can get another draw after the rider attacks. They ain't gonna block. None of them are blocking. None of them are blocking. Freaking 5/6 too. All right, I don't know what I'm gonna draw. What could I draw that would kill both? Nothing. What could I draw that could kill one, block one? Nothing. I'm just trying to decide if I have to play out the rat first. Or not. The opponent doesn't have an extra creature they can accidentally attack with this time. Won't do. Won't do. Ugh. Oh, man. This game was infuriating, but if we've got to go out, we'll go out like G's. We almost got it back in there, guys. We took the chances we were given, but the Aerialist smorked us. Big time. Dawn of Hope, Aerialist crushed us. Good event, though. We got really unlucky in a lot of spots and still managed to come out with a bunch of wins. Got our money back. I'm happy. I hope that you enjoyed this video with the mono black discard tribal deck. We certainly hit the hand here and there where we needed to. You can go a lot harder on the discard tribal theme, but I don't think you should. I think that this is the right mix of hand disruption and competitiveness that you're looking for. And all hail the great Cavalier of Night, the soldier who brings us through the storm. I hope that you'll try the deck. I know many of you have in Standard 2020. I got a lot of emails and messages on Discord and Twitter, people thanking me. They really like the build, and I love this build, so I hope you'll give it a try. Thank you for watching this video, as always. I will see you in the next mono black video. I have at least a few more to go, and goodbye.